Yeah, I used to be an adventurer like you. Then I took a comment to the knee. Skål!
Oh,
Hello, friends. My name is Ray, and today's video is brought to you by comments. It's having a bit of fun. We love the comment. We've been getting more comments, I think, than we have in a while, and some new subscribers. Thank you and welcome to all our new subscribers. We're gonna do some more cooking today. We're having a little bit of a low energy day. It's the weather. I blame the weather.
well, we worked pretty hard this morning.
We did, and that's something I think we've talked about. We're usually up with the sun, and we have a cup of coffee, and we get right to work and have more coffee, and we've been cutting up and clearing a lot of good stuff this morning. So we've already done a lot. We're going to do some cooking. I do want to talk a little bit about the comments. We've been getting some good ones. Keep them coming. Love them. We had one that said, what was it? Using too green a wood, amateurs. We're amateurs. I took it as a funny comment. I don't take offense to anything. I don't know, call me an asshole in the comments. I don't care. But I thought I talked about it, maybe I didn't. Why we are using green wood when we cook sometimes, especially roasting the chicken. And this is something I thought maybe it's a duh thing, maybe it's a, yeah, no kidding, Ralph. When you use green wood for cooking, spit roasting and roasting over a fire, you get the smoked flavor. When you are smoking at home in your smoker, whether it's propane, electric, or you cut up an oil barrel, you know, a lot of times you buy wood chips, and then what do you have to do? It says right on the bag, soak for at least 30 minutes. So you soak your wood chips, and all the professionals say, oh, soak them for a whole hour, and oh, you throw a cup of apple cider vinegar in there, and then everyone will pretend they can taste it later, but no one can taste the vinegar. Don't bother with that. When you use green wood, it's already pre-soaked.
Right, it's wet.
They kiln dry wood chips because if they didn't, when they ship it in a sealed bag, it would let off moisture and then the wood would rot inside, and then you buy a bag of dirt. So when you use green wood in the woods, it's already soaked.
Right.
So they ship it like that, then you have to soak it, you have to get the moisture in there, otherwise it just burns. When you use green wood, it smolders and smokes, which is what you want when you're smoking and roasting over an open fire. So again, I took the comment as a bit of a joke or a snark. I hope that's how you meant it. Maybe you didn't, I don't know. But it made me think I should probably clarify why we're using some of the green wood. Of course, that's one of the reasons. The other reason is I'm not buying a quart of firewood because we're in the woods. We have woods.
We'll have more seasoned wood next year because we've just cut a lot of stuff up this year that we're processing and cutting down to get ready to burn. But
Yes, and we'll show off at some point. We made a little lean-to keep wood for next year, which we didn't have. All the stuff that was more seasoned, we burned back in May when we started coming up here.
Right.
So what sparked today's video in my goofy little brain was another comment we got that someone wanted to do more fire cooking in their Penzic encampment.
Oh,
That's what made me go, oh, let's show some simpler fire cooking. And I always want to encourage more fire cooking, especially within the context of Penzic or SCA or any reenactment, because if you're out there doing the thing, right, you want to be reenacting and living history and everything. Cooking anything over the fire adds to the ambiance because it breaks the feeling, it breaks the magic when you light that propane stove, or the flat tops are popular now. When you light the flat top and you're cooking on that, it breaks some of that immersion. That being said, we own 3 propane stoves, I think, and a flat top. We have it all. We use it.
oh yeah.
I'm not, preaching from on high. Our big concession is, of course, breakfast.
Yeah.
First thing in the morning, we're making our coffee on the propane stove. We make our eggs, our bacon, our sausage right on the propane stove. First thing in the morning, we don't always want to light the fire pit.
No, well, and it takes a while to get the fire going, and especially, it also makes a big difference how many people you're cooking for.
Yes. Oh, yeah.
If it's just 2, but even then, we cooked over the fire pit 100% all last year. We did it.
And a couple of months of this year.
A couple of months of this year, it was great.
It was our friends brought up their little propane stove, and we used it a week, and I went, wait a minute. We own one of these, and that was way easier to make coffee.
Oh,
than
yeah.
hanging the
Just
tea
to get
kettle
yourself going in the
over
morning.
tripod.
Especially because sometimes here we get like a heavy fog overnight in the mountains. So then it's just damp and you're tired and you just want hot beverage and breakfast.
Yeah. So, again, we're not preaching on high, but fire cooking anything adds to the ambiance. So what are we making today?
Today we are going with something more simple, something that we would usually cook here. We don't always cook fancy food because we're working a lot. And it also happens to be state fair season near where we live.
I hadn't heard.
Yeah.
It's not on the morning news every 10
Never,
seconds.
not every 10 minutes, nope. So we decided to go with a little more fair flair for New York State.
For those who maybe aren't in New York State while you watch this, maybe you're not familiar with the New York State Fair. It was a scandal, and I forget which politician. It was a scandal years ago when a politician visited the New York State Fair and did not eat a sausage sandwich.
Yes.
Sausage sandwiches at the Great New York State Fair are such a tradition, and it's such a tradition when you're campaigning that you have to eat a sausage sandwich. And if you don't, you're not getting elected. I don't know why. So we're making some State Fair sausage sandwiches in honor of the Great New York State Fair and our commenter that wanted to do a little more fire cooking in their Penzic encampment to show you can, and Penzic being an event for the Society for Creative Anachronism, this is the creative part, right?
Right.
'Cause you can make some sausages over the fire, it adds ambiance, and you're creative, you're still fire cooking. Deli has prepped the peppers and onions ahead of time and threw them in a container. You go, well, duh. It took us longer to realize that it probably should, that you can do that.
Well,
They'll last a good week, I'd say, in a Tupper, right?
Oh, probably. Well, and it's nice because I prepped everything ahead of time, brought it in the Tupper, and then you have something to put your leftovers in.
Mm-hmm.
So we're doing something simple, something we would normally make on a everyday weekend
Yeah,
camp.
any random weekend. We don't always roast a chicken or a pork loin or make pulled pork or... We ever done pulled pork for these nice folks?
No.
We'll do a pork butt sometime.
Maybe.
Those come out delicious.
They do. It's not super interesting, but...
Maybe we'll do dueling pork butts. We'll do one in the pot and one on a spit roaster and see how they come out. That could be fun. We'll see. Who knows? But, all right. Let's get to cooking. We'll see you in a second. Throw our pan on the fire and got our fire going. It might be a little hard to see. We'll do some shots later. It's okay to have a higher heat on this. Think of your stove at home, right? If you got a gas stove, you want your heat high. Not necessarily high-ish, not cranked all the way. You don't want a blazing inferno under your pan,
No.
but you can have a higher heat. We got our cast iron. This is, again, a Lodge, part of their big-ass line.
Yeah, it's the big... It's not the Big Daddy, but it's the giant frying pan Lodge.
I want to say 18-inch Lodge frying pan.
A little too big for this purpose, but our other pan is too small. So, for how many peppers and stuff we have, so it made sense just to break out the big one.
So one important thing is you want to know where your heat is. So by the nature of our fire pit and our setup, our heat's always going to be towards the front, so I moved our pan a little farther forward. That takes a little practice. When you do it a couple times, you know where your heat's going to be. If you got a nice round fire bowl, like a lot of people use, a collapsible or a fire bowl,
Yeah.
it's going to be in the center, right?
The portable fire bowls,
Ours is a rectangle and a homemade dug fire pit. Ours is more towards the front because that's generally where we throw the firewood in. Our setup, I wanted to talk about real quick. It's attainable. I'd like to say everything's, whatever you can make. This is an old grill that we didn't even own. We've never had a square grill. It's a square grill grate. I probably found it on the side of the road and I shoved a couple of pieces of rebar through it. I'd like to hold it up and show what we can, obviously. We got a pan on it.
It's hot.
So that works great. My mother actually came up with that idea when she had a camp up on Chase's Lake. So shove some rebar in an old grill. You find them on the side of the road, an old grate. Our fire pit at home, I think we've talked about, used to be a grill that we buried, an old charcoal grill. Use what you got, come up with stuff, be clever, and cook.
Yeah.
So we're gonna start with the olive oil or vegetable oil?
I believe it's olive oil.
Once around the pan. Again, we got our prepped peppers and onions ready to go. Makes life so much easier.
It
Cutting stuff at
does.
camp can be
Easy
such a
peasy.
pain.
You don't have to worry about cutting boards or knives, all of which we do actually have here, but
We do. We've done it all while we're here. We've done it everywhere in nature. That sounded shooty.
it did.
It just makes life that much easier. Get out of there. The oil's in there. Ooh, listen to that
Oh, it
sizzle.
smells good.
Oh, that smells like the state fair.
Yeah, it does.
Now we want to add a little salt in the beginning. You want to salt, because that'll help bring some of the liquid and flavors out.
I got this out.
You got fancy salt. Kubla Khan Pleasure Dome salt. It's a seasoned salt. Lowry's got nothing on Anti-Arwen. Anti-Arwen is the way to go. I think we've talked about them before.
Oh, many times.
Anti-Arwen. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. That's already smelling delicious. Alright, give the peppers a stir. Oh yeah.
Woo.
We've done that a little sooner.
Yeah.
Got that good char.
We got little lax on that one while we watched them sizzle. I mean, they've been cooking for a good few minutes now.
It'll be a good flavor.
One of the nice things about this cast iron pan is it's got a really heavy bottom. So it holds the heat really well, but it distributes the heat really well.
Sorry if I'm blocking you.
What?
My show, get out of here.
Ah!
Trying to avoid the smoke.
Yeah.
So we're kind of stir frying. If you're doing this at home, whoop, oh, smoke. If you're doing this at home with your stove, you want to stir a lot more because you got a constant heat. With this, the heat kind of waxes and wanes, so we're going to stir it a little differently.
Oops.
Fire sous chef.
No lie, it's a sticker. I missed a sticker.
Blew up your spot, not me.
That's alright. I'm not perfect.
When they do this, their flame goes down. We're getting some good flavor, and these again, they're going to take a little while. And I wanted to show a little in between, a little flipping action. I was saying off camera, you know, a lot of cooking shows, they go, and we'll be back when they're done. And you go, well, what do you do in between? Like, you stir the heck out of them.
Yeah, you stir them a lot.
You stir them, make sure they don't burn. You want some of the char, though. I hope they can see some of the good coloring on there.
We'll make sure to get a good shot when they're done.
Oh, yeah. Some of the intermittent
Colors, flavor.
They did soak up a good amount of that oil.
And they will.
Oh, that flavor's coming out, though.
It smells good.
Oh, yeah. So, it might be hard to see, like my head right now, I think.
Yep,
Am I in
your
there?
head is
I
gone.
don't know. Gone.
Yep.
The pan, we've shoved the peppers to one side because we want the sausage. There we go. To be on the heat, right on the pan. If you're squeamish about putting your raw meat in with your sausage and peppers or whatever vegetables you're doing with this, or a lot of times at home I'll do steak. If it's marinated and not gonna, and it's already needs to cook the liquid out, I'll do like onions and mushrooms at home, and I'll cook the steak in the same pan, and I leave them in there. If you're squeamish about all that, just pull them out first. Cook your sausage and pepper, your peppers and onions first. cook them completely, pull them out, then do your sausages. There's an impulse that every cook has, whether a professional chef or a home cook, to keep stirring things. With a meal like this, you can.
Coming in for a cooking duel.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
With a meal like this, you can. Keep stirring, keep swapping, stick your spoon in the sauce, keep going. Now, to check if they're done, I could tell these aren't. You can always cut one in half with your spatula, and you're going to look. If it's pink, it's not done.
I can
you don't
tell
want rare sausages.
on this one from the side that it's not
you
done
can see
yet.
a juice bubble in there. They're not done. We're going to give them longer. Again, you're not going to overcook your peppers and your onions. Well, yours might last longer. Ours disintegrated.
Say, that big Tupperware has gone down to about this many peppers.
Yeah.
But that's what they do.
That's what they do. Everything's cooking down. We're going to get the flavor. We're going to get the deliciousness. And it's going to be good. All right. They're definitely not Dominic's. That's a shameless plug. It's not a national brand. There's a little meat market in our town called Dominic's Meat Market. They make the best sausages. They make them in-house. Oh, how can I tell? I can tell because they're not greasy enough. They use a good amount of fat down at Dominic's.
They do.
Stack our sausage here. Put our peppers. We're going to get a bunch of peppers in here too, and that's okay. Someone don't like peppers, cook them separate. Oh, there we go.
Give them the house motto.
Whoa.
Eat it or starve.
Yes, today's menu is going to start. We're going to put these on top.
Or you can put them on the side. If you want to give the sausage just a little push, pile them on the side. I don't care. I like the peppers. There you go. This is one pan, one plate cooking in the woods.
Oh,
Less to clean up.
so let's make some sausage sandwiches like they have at the Great New York State Fair. So first you cut your roll.
They're already cut. Meh, 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 meh.
First you cut your roll.
And you're right, yes. Normally they're on sub rolls. We had a lot of hamburger type rolls at the house. And I'm
What do
sorry.
we always say? Use what you got.
Right.
We got hamburger rolls. Now, when you're making a sausage sandwich and a hamburger roll, pro tip, cut it in half.
Yep.
It'll lay flatter.
Ooh, these came out very nice. Excellent job.
As I think I mentioned earlier, cut it in half. What you should do anyway, cut into one, make sure they're done. Ooh, these are greasier than I thought.
Very juicy. You didn't cook them too high, so they came out with all the juice still in them.
Yeah, they didn't pop, which I don't even know that was possible.
It's tough. It's hard to cook sausage. Well, really, we cooked them low enough that they didn't explode.
Can I have a redneck napkin,
Of
please?
course.
Thank you. Got a redneck napkin. So we got our sausages, got the peppers and onions, which cook down to the same color, char, which makes them delicious.
There is very little left. They really cooked down.
They did. They cooked very down, but you can't overcook them. The flavors there, they're so delicious. They're going to be so good. We said earlier you can't overcook your sausage. You can.
You can.
You can dry them out. If you dry out your sausages, you just slice them thin and then serve them with cheese and crackers and call it Italian charcuterie.
Perfect.
You can make some Italian charcuterie. However, these came out deliciously perfect.
They did.
We're gonna try them and swap them. So there's one with mustard. Put me on the spot. How is it? Is it good?
Yeah.
Here's a plain one, which I put no mustard or anything on, but the juices are soaking into the bread. And, oh.
These came out juicy perfect.
The
heat wasn't too high.
It's just delicious. The juices flow. They similar to the peppers. Everything steams inside, but it doesn't rupture. It doesn't get too.
Now these peppers and onions, they look real dark. They look burnt, but they don't taste burnt. They taste almost candied.
Mmm.
They caramelized.
Caramelized.
Thank you. Caramelized.
Are they caramelized or caramelized?
Caramelized.
Caramelized?
Caramelized.
Caramelized. You're gonna love it.
Thanks for joining us for sausage and peppers.
These are better than the New York State Fair.
I think so.
Even though we don't have the right buns.
Sorry.
They're still better.
That smoke flavor.
Cover your ears. I prefer these rolls. I love cutting it in half and get the juices, and it's so good, but don't tell her that. Okay? Alright. These are delicious. These are great. Thank you for everyone for watching. From the New York State Fair, that isn't here, that we're in our woods. New York State Fair sausage sandwiches. Again, you can do this at any SCA event or in the woods or just camping.
Any camping weekend.
Cook stuff over the fire. Enjoy everything.
Just do it.
Just do it. Just make sure you cook it enough. That's it.
I don't have my mug.
Chief to know. This video brought to you by Norse VPN. We're like NordVPN, but we stole their stuff. We're not there to protect your stuff.
We're
We're gonna steal it.